go.
Now, so we can confirm launch. Everything is good to go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Geekdom Podcast, issue number 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've done this a lot.
Yeah. And we're back again this week with our end of the year show, pretty much. And talk about everything important and geeky to us this week, but also talk about our games of the year. We don't have a lot of news we're going to cover generally this week. We're going to spend most of the podcast basically talking about the games we enjoyed this year. But we do have a little bit of news, and we'll go ahead and start it out this week, and we'll say that Cyberpunk is out. Buggy as hell.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's about all you can say about it.
Literally, it's out. Like, if you're a person trying to play it on an original PS4 or an Xbox One, I'm sorry, because it looks like hot trash. The PC version is full of all kinds of crazy bugs. And basically, this game probably should have been delayed another 6 months. Like, if this is what they're giving us, this tells me that it should have been another 6
months. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I understand the deadline they wanted to meet. But the way the old gen consoles run this game, it shouldn't have been launched on old gen.
Well, see, that's just it. The game was made for old gen consoles.
I know.
So why does it run so poorly?
See, like, they say that, but how true is that?
I mean, the game's been in development for 7 years.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're telling me that you planned for a game to come out on this console, and then it runs terribly on that console. There's something weird there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But so they launched a patch yesterday to cover some of the performance problems on PS4. I haven't heard yet if it's any better or not. I will not be playing it because I believe in, speaking with my wallet when it comes to these type of things.
Same.
Yeah, and it's also why I don't buy Bethesda games at launch. Or in general, for the most part. But, like, I bought Fallout 76 when it was like $10. I bought Skyrim only because it came with a steelbook, and I bought Fallout for like Game of the Year edition when it was on sale for like $10. So it came with all the DLC. I still didn't enjoy it. So Bethesda overall just is not most of their stuff. I just don't enjoy it, except for Dishonored. I actually did enjoy Dishonored 1 quite a bit, and didn't completely hate Dishonored 2. So
Dishonored isn't a bad series.
Yeah. But and CD Projekt Red's kind of been the same way. I it's been mentioned many times on this podcast that I have never played a Witcher game. And
same.
I catch shit for it all the time from people. But it is what it is. So
I still am under the belief that a game at some point has to respect your time.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying I don't appreciate a game that puts that much content into its game, but sometimes it's just got to respect your time.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. There comes a point where, okay, if you want to put in all this side content, that's awesome. And if I feel like doing it, that's awesome. But I should have the ability to go through main story if that's what I want to do. With a couple of side quests.
You should have the ability to say no when you want to.
Exactly.
So I completely agree. That's why I hated Odyssey.
Well, see, I'll admit that Odyssey has a lot of those problems, but we as everybody knows, I spent like $200. Something about that game grabbed me. So it's a little different when a game grabs you like that, and you're just like, yeah, this is awesome.
No, I agree. Completely different.
And admittedly, there was some There are like some XP glitches and stuff in that game to where I could just glitch myself up to whatever the next level was I had to be and be done with it. And yeah, I exploited the hell out of that just so I didn't have to do side quests.
And I can't blame you. If I would have stuck with the game because I still own it,
Yeah.
I would have done the same exact thing.
Yeah, and I also bought the XP boost that the game
Right.
comes with, so I wasn't having to do much to begin with. So yeah,
Still
but
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And luckily, a little off topic, but I'm finally going to be able to probably start Valhalla this week.
Good.
I've heard that the leveling isn't harsh like it was in Odyssey, where it's like, all right, you've gotten this far in the main story, now go do 10 hours of side stuff before we'll let you continue the story. That it's not.
It's not as harsh, but the zones, because I've actually played a little bit of Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
The zones are still pretty harsh in level difference.
Are they? No.
Yeah. In my opinion, like when I was playing with a buddy and he was at like 50 power ish
Mm-hmm.
roughly, and everything around him was like 90 and above. So um yeah, it's a little, I still think it's a little too rough. I believe games should scale to you. I don't think games should be power or level locked, I guess you could say. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, that's why we've talked about it before on the show. This
mhm.
Gotham Knights game that's coming out
Yep, definitely.
it's doing it just perfectly. I think where you know it's going to level to you, not you level to it. And it's so rare when you see games that have leveling systems in them do that.
Yep,
Not every
I
game's got a
agree.
leveling system. So,
But
but
but that may actually draw me to play that game. I'm
yeah,
just saying.
yeah.
Like just that feature alone,
Mm.
developers, I'm just saying, maybe do more of that.
Hmm. Or make it an option.
Right?
Just yeah, be at the beginning of the game, be like, hey, how do you want to do this? Are you looking for 100%? Do you just want to do a little bit of side content, or do you want to be forced to do all the side content? That would
Right.
be interesting. I'm not sure how easy that would be for them on their side. Probably not too hard, but then again, I'm not a developer. I don't know.
Uh, right, but I mean, you see the games developers make nowadays. You
Yeah.
you would think it would be possible.
So, the only other this is a weird tangent we went on to off of Cyberpunk and its problems,
Oh,
but
but I think it's super
no,
related.
no, it's absolutely super related because I haven't heard too much about the leveling in that game. I have heard a couple of things. There's neat things in there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I watched Co Carnage play it, and I got to see Co meet Co, which
Yeah.
was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed people finding Hideo Kojima in game,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed people. They found the baby from Death Stranding in the game.
Yep.
So yeah, like there's plenty of Easter eggs and cool stuff, and maybe 6 months down the line, this game is worth playing. But right now, it is not worth playing to me.
I agree with that statement. I was actually gonna be somebody who bought it immediately.
Yeah. Me and you had talked about this. You were going to try and play it before this show.
And I'm super glad I didn't because it wouldn't have made the list I was gonna put it on anyway, I believe. Um, so
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see 6 months from now where that one stands and see if it works out for us. See if it works out for. Well, they already said they made their money back, so you know, well,
of course they did.
of course they did. The hype paid for all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes hype is good, and sometimes hype leads to these. You know, there's people out there that love the game, and reviews show that, and there's people out there that don't love the game, and reviews also show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
Which I think every game that drops is always gonna have that divided player base.
Mhm.
It's very rare to see something either fully negative unless it's just a terrible game. or something fully positive, unless it's just amazing, like Red Dead 2 or God of War or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you found very few people that were negative on God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And even Red Dead, a lot of people weren't negative on it. To me, it was just another one of those games. There was so much to do, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, no, I get that.
But also, I believe in that game. Like, you didn't have to do the side content, right? If you
Exactly.
just wanted to blow through the story, that was awesome. And
Yep.
I've owned the game for like a year and a half now, or at least a year. I've owned it for at least a year and not touched it. But that's more of a a backlog problem than it is anything.
So we all know your backlog problem.
Yeah, I know, right? I keep whittling it down. Like every couple of weeks, I look at it and be like, you know what? I'm never playing this. Never playing this. I'm probably never going to finish. All right, let's go ahead and take these, put them in the storage container in the closet, and this is what my backlog consists of now for my PS4. It's everything that's on this shelf right here. And
I mean, that's not terrible then.
But then my Nintendo Switch.
We won't talk about that one, right?
Yeah. So the only other bit of news that we're going to cover this week is the Game Awards. Was Thursday night. We're not going to talk about winners and losers. We're doing our own. But we are going to talk about the trailers. It's always one of the biggest parts of the Game Awards every year is the trailers. And I just picked off a couple of highlight ones for myself. Of course, the two biggest ones everybody was talking about is they announced Mass Effect is coming back. And they announced Sephiroth for Smash Brothers, which
huge.
I had made jokes about this like all day, even a couple of them on Twitter, that it was going to be Master Chief. And then I made a joke or I said, in all seriousness, it's probably going to be somebody from Monster Hunter. And that's what a lot of people believed. And when it was Sephiroth, I was like, I couldn't have placed a bet on that and got it right. There's no way in hell, Yeah, there's no way in hell that
I kind of hoped it would be Sora, but I'm super okay with Sephiroth.
Yeah, I had heard the Sora rumor too, and I was like, yeah, that 100% makes sense.
Right.
They put him in Smash, then they announced they're bringing all the Kingdom Hearts games over to Switch. Yeah,
yep.
Makes 100% sense.
It was perfect. And I seen a meme about the release regarding Sora. It was like, yeah, it's from your favorite Kingdom Hearts game, your favorite character that starts with an S. It's got Sora standing there like, and then it shows Sephiroth, and he's like, oh man, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Oh, it made me happy in my heart. But either of those, Sora or Sephiroth, I was super happy with, and Sephiroth was even better in my opinion than Sora. So can't be mad.
Yeah. But I've already seen the people's pictures of what does Kirby look like when he eats Sephiroth. And he's got the big sword and he's got the hair. It's just like, oh, please let that be it.
That's gonna be the first thing I try. It is.
Yeah, you have to see what it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Immediately eat Sephiroth.
And on the 17th, they announced, I believe, right after that on the 17th, they're doing a little direct, and we'll know when Sephiroth is coming. So.
I think the way they did it last year, or the last big release, is the day that they announced it. Later that evening, they dropped the character.
Yeah, for the Minecraft characters, for Steve and Alex.
So I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah, I would imagine either that or before the end of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure in the trailer it did say coming December 2020.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was regarding the announcement. I think that was more regarding the character.
But and then like I said, mentioned they showed off Mass Effect. It looks like it's set after the regular Mass Effect games. People aren't really sure if it connects to Andromeda in any way. Hope not. Even though I have had a couple of people that were Mass Effect fans say that I wouldn't hate going back to Andromeda, and I was like, no, I don't want my writer to exist anymore because her eyes couldn't stay in her head. Uh, yeah, it's true, man. She was bug eyed, like really badly bug eyed, and it was distracting.
That's
And
rough.
yeah, but yeah, it's interesting to see what they do and to see. There was a big shuffling at EA, like
Mm-hmm.
in the last week or so, and the guy that was in charge of the Anthem reboot is now in charge of Dragon's Age Inquisition, and which is something else that I believe they showed another quick trailer for,
Mm-hmm.
but still nothing on like release dates or anything. So now our questions are: what's happening with the Anthem reboot? Is it dead? Who's in charge of this Mass Effect game? And
Right.
how far out is Dragon Age Inquisition? Because these are three things BioWare needs to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, to be perfectly honest, at this point, BioWare has struck out the last couple of times.
Oh
And
yeah.
another hard strikeout, if I, and I usually don't try to think about things like this, but another hard strikeout from BioWare, and I'm EA, I think it's time to shut the doors. You know, and I hate to say that because Bioware's been around for so long and stuff like that, but maybe it would help a lot of these people that worked at Bioware. Yeah, maybe not from a short-term financial perspective, but go out there, create their own studios, go out there, refine themselves in a way
Right.
that some developers do from time to time. Sometimes you gotta, be taken out of your comfort zone before you find your way. And but if this next game flops hard, then I would fully expect that to happen. But it sounds like Dragon Age is the next game, and from what I understand, most of those games have been awesome. Like they still hit the hit on those,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll just have to wait and see. But then another one I have listed here is Back for Blood, which I got into the alpha for, and which is
Um, I need to I need to actually apply for that.
yeah, and so Back for Blood is by the people that made the original Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't involved in Left 4 Dead 2, but they made the original Left 4 Dead. And the game that they made after that was Evolve, was interesting, maybe slightly before its time, but
Yeah, I think so.
and probably wasn't quite hit the nail on the head as much as you had liked it to. But
Right.
but this is them going back to their roots, like just like I talked about with the people at BioWare. Maybe these guys went back to the roots. Looks good. Can't wait to play the alpha. I'm excited to give that a go. And that's coming from a person that actually did not play that much Left 4 Dead back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I played it sparingly with friends a couple of times, had fun with it, and but would absolutely jump back into this new version of it.
Right. And I like how I mean we've been asking for a Left 4 Dead for a long time, a new
Mm,
one,
yeah,
and I think Valve had a part in two, right?
yeah. So technically, Valve owns the series.
Right. So
So
like
yeah,
we've all been waiting on Valve to be like, "Hey, give us Left 4 Dead 3." And then the original company's like, "Fuck you guys, we'll do it ourselves."
ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Valve is actually scared of the number three. We know that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why there's no Half-Life 3, and there's no Portal 3. There's no Left 4 Dead 3. Actually, the next Half-Life is just going to be called Half-Life 4. They're just going to skip it. And be like, yeah, we didn't need that one. You guys didn't get that one? We played it internally. Uh, but that will never happen. And another, this analogy of mine, I think works better and better as I talk about this. The next game that I have to talk about is Callisto Protocol, which is by former Dead Space guys from EA.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these guys left EA. They went out and they looked at what they used to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing it. From the looks of it, they're doing it just as good as they did back then. And I am excited to see this because I was a big fan of so I didn't start the series until Dead Space 2.
Mm-hmm.
and I think Dead Space 2 is amazing.
It
And
is.
I went back to Dead Space 1 and I enjoyed it pretty well. Like I could see where they approved some things over
Right.
time and I enjoyed it. But then Dead Space 3 kind of didn't quite hit for me, and but it didn't hit for a lot of people, which kind of unfortunately shuttered that series, maybe a little
It did.
prematurely, but
Hmm.
uh, yeah, it would be nice to. It's nice to see them go back out there, start over, and take up and take up their old IP in a different way. That's probably the best way to say that.
Um, no, I definitely agree with that. And what a lot of people don't remember is like Dead Space at one point was so gory that they didn't even know if they were going to allow them to release it.
Hmm.
Um, so they had to pull the reins back then. And in my opinion, gore in essence is more widely accepted now.
Hmm.
So God only knows what they're gonna put in this game. Uh, there's probably gonna be some stuff we've never even thought we could see before in a video game in this.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very, very brutal.
Yes.
Um, I'm super excited for it. I love companies that kind of like to push the boundaries a little bit. So,
Mm. Yeah, and yeah, even though you think about some of the things that happen, especially in two, the eyeball thing like still gets
mm,
me to this day.
oh
It
yeah,
freaks me out. I don't like things messing with eyes, especially mine. Uh, but yeah, it was interesting looking. But no release date on that, and I imagine it might be a 2021, but it's more likely a 2022 at this point.
I, I'd say first quarter of 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say
And,
that's
and
a
and that's actually a really good time. It seems the first quarter of any year seems to be when the horror games hit now, anyways.
mhm.
Like they're not trying to wedge them in there at Halloween or anything like that. They're like, yeah, first quarter we'll put our horror games out because everybody's cooped up in their house with the snow. Set a horror game in the snow. Uh, doesn't always work. But the next one that I have written down is the announcement of the reboot of Perfect Dark. A game series that's been gone for like like 15, 16 years now since the last one.
It's been a long time.
And
Hold on.
the first one it was a Xbox 360 launch title, so
Mhm.
and it wasn't great.
It's been 10 years.
Is it bit only 10 years? That doesn't sound right.
It says latest release Perfect Dark, Xbox 360, March 17th, 2010.
Huh.
That's what this says.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that sounds like the release of the original Perfect Dark on Xbox.
Still counts though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Perfect Dark Zero was the last game. It
Right.
was 2005,
Okay, so yeah, 15 years.
and but yeah, it's just another one of those. The series kind of didn't have one successful game. They shuttered it away,
Mhm.
and it had one of the biggest. Like the 360 version. Or yeah, 360 version was, yeah. The original Nintendo 64 version was very nice, but
Mhm.
and now this is Rare has nothing to do with this. This is the people at the
Yep.
Initiative, who's Microsoft's new internal studio that they
Mhm.
put together. A lot of top end talent there. I imagine they're going to get this together, and it's going to be. I'd imagine it's going to be a pretty enjoyable game. Like I'm actually excited to give it a try when it comes.
So I never played the any of the originals. But I'll probably pick this up though.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for it. I always like when games that have been gone for a long time get shown love and brought back into current gen uh type things.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just interesting. Sorry, I was picking something in my brain shut down. Um,
Uh Happens all the time.
No, I was double checking something for the next game I have written down, and that is Open Roads. And it had some top tier voice talent in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Fulbright Studios game who made Gone Home and Tacoma, and I've already spoken about Gone Home before on the show. Tacoma is a very good game as well. Very different from it's the art style is very different from them. I'm excited to see that. Anytime these guys make anything, I always want to give it a try. So yeah, that is that's an absolute I want that.
Mm.
And the last two things I have written down. One is Season, which was another interesting semi-indie-ish looking game about a girl going around. Looks like she's recording things.
Mm-hmm.
Set sometime in the future. Uh, I'm curious to see what that game is like when it comes. The last one I have written down is interesting because I'm playing the original a lot with friends right now. That's Arc 2.
Mm.
And or as people on the internet have already gone to calling it 2 Art 2 Furious.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this is a really weird looking Vin Diesel game. And I kept watching and I kept watching and I kept watching. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is the Arc announcement I heard about earlier today, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is.
I don't get it.
Yeah, well, why did you need to? I mean, I guess from my guess is the next game's going to have a little bit more of a story mode to it than the original does,
Mm-hmm.
and they've brought in brought in a name brand actor, and they're going to have this animated series now. That's probably going to help
Yeah.
flesh out the story, and it had a whole list of name brand voice talent from Russell Crowe
Mm-hmm.
and like all kinds of top end stars. So my question is, how much money did Ark make? Because like this is a lot of money to be throwing around right now. And I understand that it's been successful for a while and they've crapped out DLC, but I have hopes. Hopefully this is a better and more stable game engine. And uh yeah, I don't know. And after Atlas bombed but didn't bomb, like everybody bought it but then nobody played it. Uh, which Atlas apparently still has console version coming next year. I think early next year. We
Mm-hmm.
we have a release date for the Xbox version, but not the PlayStation version. So, but yeah, those are all the things I had written down from the Game Awards. Was there any other of the trailers that you saw that?
Yeah, Century Age of Ashes. I
Mm,
really dug that. Dragon v Dragon aerial combat sounds fun as fuck.
yeah.
I actually already applied for the beta on that. Um, Looks really good. Don't know if it'll live up to how it looked in the trailer. Um, but it's worth at least trying to get into the beta for. The Evil Dead game just looks hilarious to
Oh
me.
yes. Yes.
That just seems like fun in general. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you need a time waster game, Evil Dead seems like it's going to be one of those.
Yes.
Um, I think that's about it. I was super intrigued that they brought Ghosts and Goblins back because that's like the original hard as fuck game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm super excited to see where that ends up going.
Yeah, for anybody who's watching that's never played a Ghosts and Goblins, that was like Dark Souls before.
Yeah, oh yeah, like it was super unforgiving. So I'm wondering if they're gonna keep that level of go fuck yourself player attitude.
I'd
Because it's
imagine
definitely there.
so. I'd imagine that's still there, but I imagine that there's a little bit easier difficulties too. Just a
Right.
feeling. Yeah. Nothing to confirm there, but just a feeling. But
But no, I think that's the only things that you didn't have that I
yeah.
thought was pretty interesting. Everything else I'm not super big on. I mean, Callista Protocol, we already hit that. I mean, I'm not huge about Mass Effect. I mean, I don't really care.
So the only one of them I've actually ever completed from beginning to end is 2.
I think same.
And I played quite a bit of 3. I just never finished it. And it's weird because I've had a couple of different Shepards now. I started playing 1 on PC at one point, like a couple of years ago, because I was like, I'm gonna do 1 through 3 on PC with the same Shepherd, and never made it through 1. And then but I originally played 2. 2 was the first one I ever played. I played through it on PlayStation 3, and then I played through Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. So
Okay.
3 different versions of FemShep, and all 3 of them were terrifyingly scary. Like, she was not a nice person at all, and I loved every minute of it. But yeah, and the hot minute that I spent with Andromeda, I literally, I think I spent about 10 hours with Andromeda because of EA access,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm saving my money. I'm good.
I can't blame you. Really, I can't.
But yeah, that's pretty much then all we've got to cover for the Game Awards. So it's the end of the year. In the year time, everybody likes to talk about all their favorite things, or favorite games, favorite whatever's important to them. They always like to talk about their favorite things this time of year. We're no different here. So we've come up with a couple of different categories and a fan vote. And then, of course, we like to end every podcast with a top 5. So, of course, this week's top 5 will be our top 5 games of this year.
Oh yeah.
So, we'll go ahead and start. Our first category is favorite ongoing game. And I don't think you'll find any surprises in this category for either one of us. But, so, what's your favorite ongoing game, Nate?
I'm pretty sure I know yours immediately.
Yeah, probably.
I think I have to kind of choose Rocket League for
Yeah.
this. Like I played like 12 hours of it yesterday.
Mm.
So I mean, I can't get away from the game. And I mean, with Epic taking over the reins a little bit, they're really kind of starting to innovate a little bit and bring some cool stuff to the game. But yeah, I'm super excited for where Epic's gonna take Rocket League. They've just kind of built it up over the not very long they've had it and made it better. It seems the esports league, even though in the crazy mess that 2020's been, esports is even growing through Epic. Um, I see a pretty long life for Rocket League. And I'm probably gonna play it for as long as it's relevant. So
Yeah. Until Rocket
uh
League 2 comes around.
they don't they're what can they do? Like
I don't know. You would think it would be the type of game that they wouldn't want to sequelize, but then you thought the same thing about Overwatch. So,
that's true, but you can't really add a story aspect to Rocket League though.
you wait.
Like,
You wait until they add the little drivers into those little cars.
are they gonna bring like Mater in? Is that what we're doing? Like, are
Yeah.
we gonna go to the movie cars?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, Epic gets tied in with Disney. Anything's possible.
Oh God, here we go.
Let's be honest. Epic and Disney already have a relationship through Fortnite.
Yep. Oh no, what are you doing to my brain right now? Stop. No.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, but what's yours? I know it, but
I mean, yeah. Everybody knows it's Destiny 2. Yeah. Which I admittedly I haven't played it that much in the last 2 weeks because I've been playing a lot of Ark. I did get on the other day and do the Hawkmoon quest, most of it. I'll finish that up. The Christmas event starts this week, and that's when I'll come back and I'll play through the Christmas event. Spend next week playing Destiny 2, and then I'll be done with it for a couple of weeks. Because while I did enjoy parts of the new content, the seasonal content this season for Destiny does not intrigue me. So, like, I'm not big on these Wraithborn hunts. I'm not really looking to grind that stuff out, do that stuff. So, yeah, I'm I'm perfectly okay letting it go a little bit until next season.
Right.
And plus, let's be honest, I'm a little bit burnt out because I've done 70 some raids since July.
Oh,
Like the not even beginning of July, like the end of July, beginning of August.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Well, in a good way.
Yeah, and most of them were enjoyable. I will say like 90% of them were enjoyable.
That's
So,
good then.
yeah. Yeah, there wasn't too much stressing. Too much. But so
Oh well.
our next category is favorite soundtrack. So, what
Um,
do you got?
I put Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the reason I put that is because I think I think either I messaged you or I messaged Beth like as soon as I turned it on and just nostalgia hit me in the fucking teeth.
Mhm.
And then just playing through every part of that game, nostalgia is accompanied, in my opinion, by a soundtrack. If the soundtrack is memorable, it definitely brings that nostalgia factor out, and it just crushed me. Um, like I could literally load that game up and let the menu music play on repeat. It wouldn't bother me at all. Um, but and I know it's kind of like they didn't do a whole lot. They just updated the music because Final Fantasy kind of has roughly the same music for every game. Um, well, in a blanket statement way, yeah, they've reused a lot of music.
Mhm.
Um, but it's still amazing to me. It was revamped enough for me to really enjoy it and help me get immersed back into a Final Fantasy game. Um, but yeah, I think that's a solid pick for this year. It that's a hard pick too.
Yeah, it is. And so my favorite soundtrack for this year was The Last of Us 2.
Mm, that's a great choice.
Yes, yes. So many great songs, the awesome, the guitar riffs, and then watching the Game Awards the other night and listening to Eddie Vedder play that song, like just hearing that song reminds me of that moment of them together in the museum in the little
Mm-hmm.
space shuttle, and it was just awesome. And yeah, it's just amazing music. I could listen to it over and over again, and actually own it on vinyl. So
Oh.
yeah, I actually bought so back when they released the first trailer, they put out a little vinyl, and I have that one, and now I have the complete vinyl soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And I do enjoy collecting things that I enjoy listening to on vinyl, so that was an easy choice for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so yeah, absolutely. My favorite soundtrack for this year was The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah, I can't blame you at all there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Great soundtrack. Good use of music in that game in general. By making an impact when the man at the end
Yeah.
when her fingers were gone and she couldn't play how she used to.
Mm-hmm.
Even that to
Yeah.
me should be a part of that soundtrack. Like
Yes.
that's a major point in that game. Um but yeah, it was a hard decision, but it was a good decision.
So our next category is best art direction. And so, what do you got for best art direction?
I actually put Ori for best art direction.
Yes.
I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
I love how that game looks.
Mm-hmm.
I love how the game plays through the stages of that art direction.
Mm-hmm.
That studio really knows what they do well, and they do it well every game.
Yeah.
Um, it's a if anybody here is for some reason never seen or played an Ori game, you'll
Yes.
understand once you go look it up.
Yes.
Those guys really know what they're doing. They know what their niche is, and they knock it out of the park every time. That game is
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah, so they just released physically. They've been out digital download for a while. The
Hmm.
Ori games on Switch, and
Nice.
I bought this really nice collector's edition that has both of them in it. It should be here soonish, hopefully.
Good.
I am 8-bit. I'm watching you. Uh, and yeah, it's just one of those things that those games are beautiful games,
Mm.
absolutely. And but my favorite art direction for the year is Ghost of Tsushima. And very few games is there a time where I just kind of want to stand around and watch things happen around me. And Ghost of Tsushima is one of those. Sometimes you just find a nice big plains where the wind's whipping around and everything's carrying through the wind, and you just want to stand there and you want to enjoy it.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah,
Probably more than just about anybody else, but there's a reason I couldn't put this here
yeah,
in my brain.
yeah,
So
yeah. I understand that.
I wanted to share the love a little.
Yeah, but yeah, to me this game is absolutely beautiful,
Hmm.
and it hits all those spots. Uh, but I don't know how to say this. Most of the games I enjoy, there's something physically appealing about them to me. I'm very weird about most of the types of media I consume, like even like animation, certain animation styles and stuff. I don't enjoy. So therefore,
Right.
like people were like, "Oh, you should watch Attack on Titan." I was like, "No, I don't like the art style on Attack on Titan. Therefore, I won't be watching it."
I'm the same way though,
Yeah,
like exactly the same
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I'm sure Attack on Titan, it's an uber popular series. A lot of people enjoy it. The art style's not for me, therefore it doesn't work for me.
Right.
Um, there's a bunch of older animes and stuff. Yeah, and there's certain games I can look at a certain game and go like, yeah, no, it just doesn't work for me.
Right. No, I agree.
Like I'll be perfectly honest. The last couple of days I've spent some time with games that came out this year that I hadn't had, that from one reason or another I hadn't touched, just to see if like they should get an honorable mention or something that I wish I
Hmm.
could back up to at some point. And I played Battletoads for about 20 minutes, and I was like, this is so unappealing to me.
Mm.
Just from a visual level,
Yep.
that I'm done.
And I think this is going off on a little bit of a small tangent, but I
Mm,
think um that's a huge thing nowadays. We're also spoiled with like the fidelity of gaming nowadays that
hmm
we have that option.
Yeah.
Like we really do.
Yes. Yeah. And that's not to say everything has to be top tier.
Right.
I don't need all the. We talk about this all the time. I have a very beefy PC laying right here,
Hmm.
and I choose not to play games on PC most of the time
Right.
because that level of visual fidelity doesn't always it doesn't
It's
interest me as
it's
much
different.
as something that's just visually appealing.
Oh no, I completely agree. I
Yeah.
believe that that sort of fidelity is different when you're
Mm,
talking about the aesthetic of a game.
yes.
So no, I completely agree.
But yeah, so our next category we've got is content creator of the year. And this is these are, like I said before, these are all our own personal opinions. You know,
Right.
don't want to see anybody in the chat. "Oh, I can't believe you don't like." No, no, it's not nothing to do with that. But go ahead and give me your content creator of the year.
Lupo. And I will say why it's Lupo. I didn't get into Lupo until this year.
Mm-hmm.
Lupo's a wholesome motherfucker. I don't know if anybody has that doesn't watch Lupo has heard what he just recently did. If nobody knows Lupo, he is a big charity guy. He donates St. Jude all the time, and just recently he made it to where all donations that come in on his channel, all donos go straight to St. Jude.
Yeah.
He gets no more of that money. He's also doing monthly prizes for people who donate, working with his sponsors and stuff like that. And I think, me personally, that's what being a large content creator should be. You should give back. Um, Once you have that capability to make that large of an impact on whatever charity you choose, or whatever good you decide to do with your money, I believe you should do it as hard as you can. And he's been the only person that I know of that has switched all donations coming into his channel
Mm-hmm.
from going to him. And this is forever. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't for a little while. This is until he stops being a content creator, to my knowledge, on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
that all of his donos go straight to St. Jude. Um, that, I don't know, that's just amazing to me. It speaks a lot about his character. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been a follower of Lupo for a long, long time now, back to like his early, D1, what was it? Yeah, D1 trials days. He's
Oh
actually
yeah.
been, he took off, I believe, when PUBG became popular,
Oh yeah.
and he just continued to skyrocket ever since. And unlike a lot of people on the platform, he's taken his position and used it for the betterment of others.
Yep.
And that's a rare thing. And he is one of the streamers that always have, a special place in my heart when it comes to streamers.
Oh yeah.
But so my content creator of the year, if you would have asked me 2 months ago, it probably would have been somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But about 2 months ago, I ran into this content creator through watching one of It Me JP's shows. And I found, what she does appealing. I think she's a generally fun person to watch, a kind person. Uh, 2020 hasn't been the easiest year for people. And one of my favorite things to do now is go to her stream and turn it on and just listen, because she creates amazing music. So my 2020 content creator of the year is Megan Lennius, and I think I said your last name right. I hope I said it. Bad with last names, forgive me. But I have just gotten to the point that sometimes when it's been a bad day, or the world's a little crazy out there, there's nothing more fun than just putting on her stream and listening and enjoying. And I have this weird belief where I joked in her chat one day. She was talking about being a Twitch ambassador now. She's a Twitch ambassador now. And I said, Twitch ambassador, aka future ruler of the world. And I believe that she's one of those types of people that could do anything she sets her mind to.
Right.
And like I said, she makes amazing music, and anything that she does in the future, I'm all for it. And I'm excited to see, because her channel is still one of these ones that's just still continuing to grow. So right. I want to see where she's at in 2 years. I want to know, I want to see all of it. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. But yeah, that's why she is my 2020 content creator of the year.
Oh yeah, I can't blame you. I have personally never heard of her, but once you mention music, it kind of piques my interest. I'll definitely have to look her up.
Yes, absolutely. I'll send you a link afterward.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But our next category is the fan vote for Game of the Year. So in our Discord, I put up a voting poll for the 2020 Game of the Year. And the games I listed were Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizon, Doom Eternal, Hades, basically what they listed for their Game of the Year choices at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
And with it's not surprising by any stretch, but an overwhelming majority, I'm not going to give out specific numbers, Ghost of Tsushima was Game of the Year for the fan vote for this year. And, a lot of people probably aren't surprised by that. And, congratulations to that game for, just grabbing so many different people. And, it started some interesting conversations in our chat about different games and, nothing people weren't fighting or pecking at each other over it, and they're like, oh, I kind of like this and I kind of like this. And I also left it open. I was like, listen, if there's something that is your Game of the Year that's not on this list that came out this year, let me know. And nobody added anything. So but I will say Hades did not get a single vote, which is unfortunate, but also be known that my Discord is full of console players.
Right.
And the only console that has Hades is the Switch, apparently, which I just did not find out until a little bit ago. So I'll be making that purchase later.
It's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, it's coming down the pipe right now. And, but yeah, so, Ghost of Tsushima was the winner on that one. Oh, and Final Fantasy VII Remake. I didn't mention that. That was on there too. But, yeah, a lot of people really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, and so the only category we have left in is our personal top 5 games of the year.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to go ahead and start us out with your number 5.
So my number 5 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. They did that remake fucking perfect. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's Tony Hawk. It's a simple arcade game, but the cameos that were made in that game were great. The gameplay is everything we remembered it to be. It's I don't know, it's just hard to beat something that you had so much fun with 10 years, well, more than 10, but a long time ago. And then just bringing that back to what we have now and making it relevant again, because it really did. Tony Hawk was one of those games that nobody had talked about in forever, years and years. And I don't know, they came back and they showed out. It was great.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to put as much time into that game as I'd like to this year. It's probably something I'd come back to later. Mostly, I think a lot of it had to do with sometimes in the back of my head I do think about the trophies a lot. And there is a ridiculous trophy in that game for reaching level 100 in like progression, and it's just a ridiculous grind from what I understand. So that's probably why I haven't messed with it as much as I should have. But my number 5 is Watch Dogs Legion.
Nice.
So I put about 35 hours into the game now. Not quite done with all of it. I'm just doing side stuff now. I'm done with the story. The story was as good as it could be for a game without a main protagonist. Right. You have to remember that, you're a group, you're not one individual character. At any given point, your character can go away or be kidnapped or be arrested and be unavailable for several hours of the game.
Yep.
So, and, you'll switch from character to character, all kinds of different characters. But I thought the story was enjoyable. I love the setting. The bad guys in it, were typical bad guys, nothing to write home about there. But right. Just the gameplay loop and everything I found to be super enjoyable. When it comes to the Watch Dogs series, I was kind of disappointed in 1, and therefore I didn't buy 2 at launch, and I bought it a couple of months after it launched and realized it was a way better game than the first one.
Oh yeah.
And I've absolutely enjoyed this one. And it is a little buggy. They're working on it, though. They're always good about working that stuff out at Ubisoft. So I would recommend it to people especially if it's been on sale a little bit here lately. If you can catch it in a decent sale, grab it and give it a try.
Right.
But what do you have for your number 4?
My number 4 is Animal Crossing. Um, I have played a fuckload of Animal Crossing this year,
Yeah.
and I don't think it has anything to do with this year being 2020.
Yeah.
I think Animal Crossing New Horizons is just a great fucking game. It gives you a lot to do in a non time constrained way. It lets you have complete freedom over what you want to do. There's tons of customization. They even brought in that you could play with friends, which does help this year in 2020. The game came out probably at the best time that it ever could have.
Uh-huh.
That's um in my opinion at least. And they've had seasonal updates to bring players back to do stuff because I hadn't touched the game in a long time, and then the Halloween event started, and I immediately went back, grabbed some of the Halloween items. I still have to do all of it for the Christmas items. Um, my aquarium in the museum is fucking stacked.
Is it?
Oh god, stacked. That's what I do though. I just really enjoy fishing on that game. I don't know why. Don't judge me, people. That's just what I like doing. Uh, um, but yeah, Animal Crossing, in my opinion, really takes the cake this year. It was a good game to help pass time. It was a good game to be able to play with friends for the first time. Well, ease of access to play with friends.
Yeah.
Because it's super easy this game. But yeah, I think Animal Crossing deserves to be on a top 5 game of the year list.
All right. So for my number 4 is another Switch game.
Okay.
And so dueling Switch games at 4. And that is Super Mario 3D All Stars. All right. So any package that you could give me that has 3 of the more well known and enjoyed Mario games of all time in it is no surprise to me. And still yet, I've only made it through 2 of them, and I've never played Mario Galaxy before, and I can't wait to finally sit down and enjoy and play through Mario Galaxy, which is the only one of them that actually got like completely redone. They completely rebuilt that game in the Switch engine to take advantage of the controls. But yeah. So yeah, my number 4 is Super Mario 3D All Stars. If you own a Switch, you should own this game. That simple.
I definitely need to get it. You could argue that it's 3 of the most impactful Mario games ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, you kind of have to have it. I really need to pick it up. So
yeah, and also they've already talked about it. They talked about it before release, but this game will be vaulted at some point.
Oh.
I want to say in like March or April, they're just going to pull it from the shelves. So
okay, so I need to buy it fast.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I need to buy it fast.
Yeah. So what do you have for your number 3?
I put Final Fantasy VII Remake as number 3. I have had a blast with this game. Thanks to you. I've had a really good time. It's Final Fantasy with a different spin. It lets you experience the game in a way, when you originally played it, you never even thought you would be able to play it. But I've already gushed over the audio. There's some people I would like to punch in the face in that game, though. But that's every game. Every game should have people that you love and you hate. That's what makes a good game. Well, it's part of what makes a good game. But no, like Aerith, I could punch in the fucking teeth. Jessie, I could have punched in the teeth a lot. Like, man, she thirsty. Like, she's so thirsty this game. Like, listen, I get it, Jessie, but man, come on. Like, the only thing you're not doing at this point is literally hopping on Cloud's dick. Like we're one step away from that. That's the only thing we haven't done
Oh
yet.
my god.
And you know, like that's cool and all, but at a gesture, it gets annoying as fuck. Like Cloud, fuck this bitch and tell her to go home. Call her an Uber, something. Just get come on. But no, I think the rework of kind of how the characters act, because Aerith is much more sassy, I guess is a great way to say it. She's much more sassy than originally.
Mm-hmm.
Tifa is still your number one emo girl. I'm just I don't know. Um and Charlie Sheen. Like I know Charlie Sheen's not in this game,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, what's his name? Biggs? Yeah, I think his name's Biggs.
Yeah.
Biggs is literally Charlie Sheen incarnate. They made him look like Charlie Sheen. He acts like Charlie Sheen. He talks like Charlie Sheen. Um, um I don't know. I have a lot to say about that game, but there's some wild shit to me. I don't understand the Charlie Sheen uh cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I don't get that one. But all in all, it's a great game. I've had a ton of fun with it. I'm super excited to see where the second edition of this game goes. Because they basically left it so open ended that they could do nearly anything on the second edition.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's gonna be really fun to see. But yeah, uh, sorry sorry about the tangent, but dear God, Jesse, like calm her down, like just lower it a little bit.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So, interestingly enough, my number 3 is also Final Fantasy VII Remake. And yeah, it hit all those nice, sweet nostalgia points for me. And
Perfect.
yeah, it's another one of those games I absolutely. You mentioned the soundtrack is your soundtrack of the year. I did enjoy the soundtrack, and it brought back a lot of that nostalgia. And it was a beautiful game. And yeah, they've set themselves up going forward that it doesn't. They basically told you that the next game is not going to follow the path. You know,
Mhm.
this is the remake. Like the way they've set things up going forward, it is very much so not going to end the way it ended.
And I'm super okay with that.
Yeah,
Um, I think that should definitely be a thing, because at that point we are technically playing through the same game in the
yeah,
same universe,
yeah.
but it gives us a purpose and a drive and an initiative to want to play it more so to see the end.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see what happens in the next one. But so what do you have for your number 2?
Last of Us 2. I I mean, we had a lot of conversation about this way earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great game, even when it was getting tons and tons of backlash, which makes no sense to me how one game of the year. I'm just saying. Um, even though it had tons of backlash, I love the Abby storyline,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel like the game got the most shit over. I think that killing Joel is the only way that they could really move the game forward. I believe that the scenery in that game was fucking breathtaking. That game was beautiful. The voice acting again was great. The gameplay was great. Um, it's I don't know. It shouldn't have won Game of the Year to me. But all in all, that game really, regardless of regardless of what anybody wants to say, I think that game proved a point that it didn't need its literally second largest member in the game to be good.
Yeah.
They figured out a way to bring somebody new in and really, really sell them hard. And that's kind of what it felt like they did. They felt like they were trying to kind of, I don't know, kind of turn away the attention from Ellie so much and give you another perspective. Um, And that perspective was better than Ellie, because Ellie's a cunt.
Oh,
Fuck that
wow.
bitch.
Wow. A little harsh, but okay.
It's true. She literally went on a blood crazed, and she didn't even know why she didn't even know why Abby even came to do anything like that to Joel. And I believe if she would have took the 5 fucking seconds to ask, the game wouldn't have existed. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, and it didn't seem a whole lot like Ellie to get just straight tunnel vision as hard as she can on one thing, and it didn't matter to what else she did to anybody else. But it was still good writing.
Yeah.
But that's why I say fuck Ellie. Abby all the way.
See, okay, so here we are again. My number
Yep.
2
Yep.
is The Last of Us Part 2.
Yep.
And you know, you're a very you enjoy Ellie, or you enjoy Abby a lot. I enjoy Ellie a lot. Even though there were times I did want to take Ellie and just shake the no, well, I just want to shake the shit out of her, not punch her in the face.
Wow.
Because she could probably kill me. And well, I know she can. I've seen her do it.
You're right.
But yeah, and I've talked about this before. Whenever I finished the game for the first time, I was super annoyed.
Yeah.
I despised Abby with a passion.
You did?
And I was super upset. And I wasn't upset, like, me and you've had these conversations before, and I said it before the game came out. I said it 2 years ago when the game was announced. Joel had to die.
He did.
There was no way for Ellie to grow as a person with Joel there to protect her.
Well, there's no way for the game to grow.
Yeah, and for the story to progress in any meaningful way, Joel could not be there. And technically, Abby regressed when Joel wasn't around, but at the end, it looked like maybe she was going on the right path after she got home.
No, I definitely agree with that 100%.
And you know, I did start to enjoy Abby more on my second playthrough, because I don't think the anger was there in the way that Joel died. Yeah, even though I knew he was going to die, I wasn't completely happy how it happened.
Right.
But by the end of my second playthrough, I understood a lot better. And I was able to enjoy the game a lot more. And I've said it before too, I fully expect the next game for you to start playing that game as Abby and oh my god, I can't remember his name. I legitimately
I can't remember either, but I know exactly.
Yeah, my brain's a little miswired today. But yeah, I fully expect to start out as those two, and then maybe come back around to Ellie, or maybe in the next one we barely see Ellie at all.
Well, I mean, we still don't really have an idea of where she went.
Yeah. And you know, there are different speculations and stuff. There believe that maybe she went back to, you know, the city, which is, you know, where what's her name is. Oh my god, I can't remember anybody's name today. My brain is fried. I need a nap.
Same. But no, I agree, and the reason, in my opinion, this game makes my number 2 list is because they took a brand new character that had never been in this series, and they made her a co-star, literally, and they did it well. They made the gameplay around her and around Ellie both great, even though I know a lot of people, such as yourself, that hated playing through the Abby parts. It was good though. Like, they did a really good job of taking some in a well-established game too, like something, and it shows because of the backlash because of Abby. In a well-established game, they took somebody that was a no-namer and made her larger than life. So
yeah, and so like I said, on my first playthrough, I did kind of blow through the Abby stuff. And And which also bugs me as a trophy person. I've talked about this before, and I'm going to say this very clearly, Neil. Stop putting so many fucking collectibles in your games, okay? If you want to talk about game immersion, don't put 200 and some collectibles in the game for me to find. Please. 50 tops.
Like, in my opinion, 50's still a big number.
Yeah.
Like, that's because you're supposed to be completely immersed in this. You're like, oh, let me go. Hold on. I got to completely search this area.
Yeah, and see in the Ellie sections, I did that. I searched every nook and cranny. When I was done with the Ellie section, I had missed one collectible.
Wow, that's actually amazing.
Yeah. And whenever I was done with the Abby section, I had only collected about 10 collectibles.
Wow. Yeah, see, just no respect for Abby.
Yeah, it was that first time around. But then on the second playthrough, I only had one collectible to pick up. I already knew where all like the caches and stuff were, so I was able to enjoy the Ellie part of it even more the second time through. And then in the Abby section, I had to dig out every nook and cranny, and I ended up spending more time with Abby on the second playthrough. And by the end of it, I was in a better state of mind with Abby as a character than I was on my first playthrough.
Right, but because I mean, regardless if you knew or not, Joel dying was still a huge shock to the system.
Yes.
And it made her the biggest antagonist that the game had ever had, basically, because it killed the one of, if not the most beloved character of the game. So no, I mean, I get everybody's anger. I totally got it, but I don't know. Abby over Ellie all day.
Fight. And it's another one of those things where a lot of people really beat down on this game for so many dumb reasons. Okay, there was the rumors about Abby being a trans character, which doesn't matter in the first place. And but yeah, it's just people are dumb.
And I mean, like that's weird to me anyway. This is that seems kind of sexist to me, truthfully. Because women can be built like a brick shithouse, bro. Like they're not all frail, skinny fucking people. Like you people realize that there are like world champion bodybuilders that are women, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and it's in the fucking apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like she's got to take care of herself. Come on. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and people's negative reaction to her, people went out there and they, sent threats to Laura Bailey, her voice actor, which is stupid. Fucking horrible, and people need to get a damn life. And people attacked Neil Druckmann and said horrible anti-Semitic things about him. As somebody who is, half Jewish, attacking somebody for those reasons is so incredibly horrible. For any reasons. I don't care if it's your sex, your skin color, your religion, what color your eyes are, or what you're wearing that day. Okay, to attack anybody for any kind of reason based off of something like that is stupid. These people need to go jump in a river somewhere.
No, I 1,000% agree.
Yeah. And
shit's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'll be perfectly honest. It will probably affect the opening day sales of the next game. I wouldn't be surprised because people are dumb. But it will be a day one purchase for me again, like it was this time. Nothing will stop me from seeing where the story goes. And now we're going to get a TV show. And I hope the TV show follows a similar I hope Joel makes it through the whole first season and dies in the first episode of season 2. Okay. Like
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know. I never understood the backlash that game got. And I don't understand people getting so upset at a video game that they I don't know, they devolve into sending death threats and making fun of people and who they are. Like that's ignorant. Like gamers need to chill the fuck out. Normally we're pretty all right, but Jesus, like calm down.
Yeah. Yeah, we have our ups and downs as a group, but don't uh don't lump some of us in with the rest. Is the best way
Yeah,
to say it.
like the thing is what all gamers need to realize is that gaming is like music to a lot of people. Gaming connects all gamers.
Mhm.
We are all in this together. We're all trying to have a good time and pass the time as we watch the world fucking burn. We don't need to help the world burn with it. Like, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there's no need for hostility. We should all lift each other up.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So, with all that being said, go take a breath. And what do you have for your number one?
It's not even a question. Like, this question shouldn't even be asked.
No,
Um,
no.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And before we even get into it, spoilers, it's also my number one.
yeah.
Um,
Go ahead. I'll let you start because I've talked quite a bit.
okay, so I received this game in early access this year.
Lucky.
I think I talked about it on the podcast before, and so I finished it before it ever came out, and I was out there beating the war drum for this game
Mm-hmm.
for people to get their ass out there and try this game because yeah, exactly. I am the reason that he bought the game
Oh yeah.
and a PlayStation, I might
Oh yeah.
add. But
I bought a PS4 and this game just to play it.
yes. And so the setting to me is absolutely amazing. The
Oh yeah.
soundtrack is absolutely amazing. Art style is absolutely amazing. The characters are great. Um the story is good. You know, it's not an unfamiliar story for anybody who's seen these types of games and these types of settings. And you know, it's super enjoyable. Like I enjoyed it. It controls very well. I enjoyed the character very much. You know, I was one of those people, and I know you were the same way, and I know a couple of people that have also played the game that were the same way, that you didn't move on to the next section of the game till you completely cleared the map in the section before that.
Yep.
And you know, I just wanted to see everything. I wanted to see what was on this hill. I wanted to see what was around that corner. I wanted to see what was through those trees over there. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
just to stand there and watch the wind blow and all the petals through the air. I enjoyed that game so much. And if at the beginning of 2020 you would have told me that Ghost of Tsushima beat out Final Fantasy VII Remake and The Last of Us 2 as my game of the year, I'd have laughed at you.
Right.
Because I'll be perfectly honest, 2 months out from this game coming out, I had very mild interest in this game. And it completely caught me off guard. And I've enjoyed the hell out of it.
Um. Yeah. Not only is this my game of the year
Mm-hmm.
in this top five, I also believe that this game makes my top five favorite games ever. This game like changed me as a person. I believe I went through like a spiritual journey with this game.
Yeah.
Um, and for anybody who's watching, I normally don't take to a game like this, especially a story driven game.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking put it down. Like I couldn't. Like I you can ask Joe here. I was super sad when it was over. Like I had
Yeah.
nothing to do. Like I felt lost as a person.
Yeah.
The music, the environment, the gameplay, the story, and I know you say, it kind of is a story that we've seen before in essence, but they just nailed it. It was perfect. In my opinion, it couldn't have been a better release for this game. And not only that, months after it releases, they give you free DLC
Mm-hmm.
that you can play with your friends
Yeah.
to expand the game even more. Um, it's I don't know. I think they really outdid themselves in this game. Um, I can't wait to see what that studio does after this.
Mm-hmm.
I need DLC story wise. Fuck the and that's something I never say,
Yeah.
but I need DLC story wise so I can play more. I actually may end up playing through this game again, which I also never do. Because I basically 100%ed it the first time through.
Mm-hmm.
That good old plat trophy.
Yeah,
It's
his
the only
his
one I
his
have.
yeah, it's the one and only platinum trophy he owns. So
And you know what? It may stay that way.
yeah,
It really may. That I don't know, man. That game just thanks. That's all I can say.
yeah,
Thank you for bringing it to my attention, making me buy it, and a PlayStation for it. It was well worth the purchase. Um, although I got the PS4 for hardly nothing. We won't talk
yeah,
about that
yeah.
though. But no, I don't know how The Last of Us 2 won it. I think The Last of Us 2 won Game of the Year just because of its name. Um, that's how I'm gonna say that. Take it for what you will. Um, Ghost Ghost is literally Game of the Year. I'm sure you could ask mostly everybody, and Ghost would be Game of the Year. It's hard to beat something that when a development studio comes out and they nail everything they set out to do, it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to beat that. And I really think they did. I don't think there's anybody in that studio that has looked back and been like, "Man, I wish we would have did that better." No, cuz I don't know if they could have. Like it's just good. Um no, it's probably definitely in my top 5 favorite games of all time now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably remember this game until I get Alzheimer's and die. So
Wow. Yeah, no, yeah, that was our top 5 games of the year, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say from there. Do you have any games that were close to making the list that didn't quite make it?
that's a good question. I haven't really put a ton of thought into it. I think, Shadowlands might be in there. I've been playing quite a bit of Shadowlands. That's not really a game, it's an expansion.
Yeah.
But normally World of Warcraft leveling is terrible. It's actually been kind of story filled and a little fun this time through from what I've played. Can't hate can't hate on it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Um but no, I'm not sure if there's anything else that would make
Uh,
probably Watch Dogs, but I never personally played Watch Dogs. I
yeah.
just watched playthroughs of Watch Dogs. Which I think counts too because you're
Yeah.
just as immersed that way if you're giving it your entire attention.
Yeah, so Ori probably would have made the list for me.
Right.
Uh, but it was another one of those games I didn't get to finish it.
Mhm.
So maybe if I would have finished it, maybe it would have squeaked its way onto the list. Paper Mario was another game for me this year that I enjoyed quite a bit, and it was just at a bad time. We had just finished Last of Us and
Mhm.
just gotten Ghost of Tsushima, and there it was, and it was like, oh. But yeah, those two would probably make it, and I think of what else like that was so like I played a lot this year. There was quite a few games that I didn't get to play this year, like Hades and Assassin's Creed
Mhm.
Valhalla, and I'm sure I didn't get to play the new Crash Bandicoot yet, or didn't really get into Tony Hawk. So yeah,
I mean, Tony Hawk's just Tony Hawk, though.
yeah, yeah,
Like, if you enjoyed Tony Hawk back in the day, you're
yeah,
gonna enjoy it again.
yeah. I mean, I
Like,
I have like 3, 4 American Wasteland
nice.
on my GameCube, in my GameCube collection. So, because I don't think 1 and 2 came out on the GameCube. I know,
I don't believe so either.
no, but I have one. I have one for the Dreamcast, and
Wow.
yeah, and I'm trying to think. There's anything else? Of course, played a lot of Among Us this year. Played a lot of Fall Guys this year. Played a little bit of Phasmophobia this year. That was a lot of fun. Ghosts really enjoy killing me.
I just left you in that house alone. Just have fun, bud.
Yeah, basically, you're like, and I'm gone.
Later, guys. I see that ghost. I know who's dying. It's not me. I'm gone. Bye, friends. Sorry.
I was watching somebody the other day, and they had a demon. And as they were walking towards the front door, and they're like, "I'm surprised since we have a demon that none of us died." And the demon killed one of them as they were walking out the door. I was like, "Yeah, maybe you spoke too soon. Maybe you should have made it like 10 more feet before you said something."
Yeah, just make it out the door.
Yeah. But guys, that is all the show we've got. I want to thank everybody that stopped by, anybody who stopped by for any stream this year.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We're still getting we're still getting our bearings on some things, and some things might change for this year. We're still going to keep our same schedule and stuff, just different, maybe some different graphics, things like that. Nate's dealing with a house invasion currently, apparently, or a ghost. Is it a demon or?
Let's hope not. That's a little scary. But I don't know how I feel about that. Ooh, wait a
minute. Do you have your spirit box?
I don't. I have a phone. It's just.
But yeah, that is all the podcasts we got for this week, guys. And we thanks for everybody for stopping by, and we will catch you guys next year.
Yep. Take care. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.